Hello, this is Santiago Sepulveda. I will be presenting today CSC 150 for UAT, and this is under Professor Mark. And the topic I'll be covering, which can overlap with artificial intelligence, and my AI diagram is Wally. Now, for starters, Wally is an artificial intelligence able to mimic the human beings in a movie of the 21st century. It's a little bit of a caricature movie, and I really liked it because of that. When I was little, I think I was like around 11 at that time when it came out. So yeah, probably like 13 years ago. And so really, what artificial intelligence covers is this vast amount of data being gifted or put into a machine so that that machine can go ahead and be able to learn and answer things and be able to just pretty much handle its own, kind of like a human being when they go about their day. But the difference between AI and a human is that AI acts on inference and the human being acts on its will. So whenever the human being wants to do something, it just decides to do it, as opposed to the AI, which would kind of be following a little bit of a rule book as to what best should it be doing in in the case of so and so example. So then there are AI subsets, and it's like, for example, the circle where machine learning is. And sorry, I probably didn't phrase that as well as I could have, but like there is like a subset within artificial intelligence, the machine learning. And to give you an example of machine learning and what that is, we have a company or factory uh, going over its own code. And when a human being is not there and there might be some kind of error that processes through, the machine itself has learned a few answers, or several, in this case hundreds or 150 answers, for example, as an example, and those have been used to train it. And so then we go into neural networks. That's really where these data sets are kind of saying yes and no to each other so that the machine can ultimately cycle and refine whatever bugs it's going through. And that's deep learning. So deep learning will cycle that over and over again, trying to get the most efficient code the company or factory needs. And then we have the generative AI within those two circles. And what it really covers is a code that is able to generate a derivative of whatever was initially seen. Sometimes it will be like the same thing, but it's this is more for like in general like massive um data. So big data, if you do big data with artificial intelligence, and I'll give an example with the Wally reference that I did um do. So for example, Wally would be that intelligence with massive or big data, and the way it learns is it constantly goes about the surface of the earth, goes about the surface of the earth, and the earth specifically was at that time uninhabitable in the movie, and within the earth it um picks up relics and sees its own videos that are recorded in its database um, of what Earth used to be like. And Wally is then able to say a certain thing is similar to that, or it's not similar to that which it's seeing in its recordings and videos and data that it has. And so Wally keeps being able to cycle through what like a happy Earth would have been like, and that's deep learning. It was so like let's say Wally was looking for some dirt because all of a sudden it just Wally led up to collecting dirt samples that are the most purest. So Wally would go through this whole process. He would go into machine learning and then neural networks and then deep learning until Wally would get about an 85 to a 95% example of Earth that is most raw. And maybe that would be like under the ground. Um, Not so on the surface of the ground because the surface would be like corroded by air and a lot of things that the Earth would no longer be able to maintain so much life in. Um, Yeah, and so the generative AI or the what we would call the transformer, what we would call the generative AI and the transformer would be the results of a derivative of what we see in the videos of or like what Wally would see in the videos of the dirt samples. Wally would essentially find something that is akin to it, and it would pretty much emphasize what Earth is to a very fine precision. And the idea is to get it all the way up to 99, 100%, but that's not always going to be the case because things aren't the exact same thing 100% of the time. So that is my diagram, and yeah, my AI diagram. And yep,